Hello and welcome all to episode 60, but really kind of like episode 1 of the Solo Gamer podcast. My name is Ian, and I am joined by our two immortal gods and co-hosts, Taylor and Kyle. Taylor, coming in from Phoenix, Arizona. What is going on, man?
It's good, man. It's really good. I'm hot. It's been a brutal summer, but so excited to be doing the show again. Seriously, it's been a long time coming, and just excited to be in this virtual room with you both. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. I'm excited to do this again.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a really long time and lots of different versions and all of that. So it's super good. Feels really good to be back. Kyle joining me from Wenatchee, Washington. Both of us are here in smack dab bullseye middle of the state. What's going on, man?
Well, it's not a very big valley. You know what's going on, but man, I'm just excited also to get started with this. Really for different reasons. It's my first time really kind of deep diving into a podcast. So I'm ready to just spread my wings and kind of learn and grow from it. So
yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Man.
It's
Welcome
definitely, we're so happy to have you. And obviously this is not your first time on TSG. You've did some hosting. In fact, I was just listening to a little bit of an old podcast, just kind of like going through, listening to like, okay, what are things that I didn't like about what I did when I was hosting then, and what are things that I would change or whatever. One was that I cursed way too much. Like to me now, these are several years old. I love a good curse word. I love a good curse word. Just dropping an F-bomb, man.
A sentence enhancer.
I mean, yeah, sentence enhancer. It just adds an exclamation point to your grammar, and I'm all about that. But like, sometimes it can make you seem like kind of a tryhard when you're just like, yeah, shit, fucking man, this shit's like fucking bitch is crazy, man. You're like, whoa, relax.
Yeah,
Get a vocabulary up in there.
Your first time in, cursing in elementary with your friends secretly.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just one of those little things you notice. But yeah, it's podcasting's funny. I feel like it's sort of like when you first start, you're horrible at it. And then no matter how long, though, you take in between, there are just certain things that you pick up that you don't forget and you don't regress. Like, I don't feel like when I go back and listen to this episode, a couple years from now, I'll definitely be able to tell the difference between that first few episodes we did and now, because it really is a skill, and it's just all about doing it over and over and being in front of it and saying the same words over and over and using the same filler sounds, the uhs and uhs and the kind ofs and knows and like all of these things. And I just listen, and you hear it, and you just try. Dude,
that's best. Always been my Achilles heel, man. The filler words and the trying to think of the next word in between, just like, I just did it right there. There you go. So that's always been my Achilles heel.
And it doesn't, I mean, everyone and their mother does that. And no matter how much you've been podcasting, but those are just like the little things. It just, Kyle mentioned kind of, really sitting down and being on a podcast every week. It just made me think of the little things that do really progress, and you do gain skills. Even if you're just sitting here in a chair talking into a microphone, there's a lot to it. There's definitely a lot to it. And I listen to a bunch of really great podcasters, and it's kind of like listening to your favorite bands, like you pick up on the things that you really like. And when you're writing a song, you're like, oh man, this chord kind of gives me this Deftones vibe or whatever. And that's come from somewhere. Even if you didn't sit down, like, I'm going to copy Deftones. It just sort of comes out when you're writing music. It's just kind of the same thing. I feel like we're going to structure this show a little bit better than we used to. That's kind of my goal, to improve for all of ye listeners out there. Sorry if I'm hitting my table with my chair here. That's a good start. I should take some notes. Don't bump desk with chair. So we have an amazing show for everyone here today. Now, we did want to just start this week, this first episode back. It's officially episode 60 because we have our same our same profile, or whatever you want to call it, same hosting service. So if you're already following us on Spotify, or if you are going to check us out on YouTube, it'll all be in the same place that you had before if you were listening to us. So nothing changes there, but we got some new artwork done. This has been a really long time coming, because I got that artwork done like a year and a half
2 years ago or something. Yeah.
Like, that's how long Taylor and I have been kind of trying to make this happen. And then I started talking to Kyle about it, and over time it just kind of gestated, and here we are. We do want to keep our kind of classic evergreen topic based standard episode as the standard episode. We don't have a specific topic today, just we have so much to catch up on, so much time. I want to hear from all of you guys, both of you guys, about what you've been doing, some of your biggest game experiences over the last couple of years, all that stuff, what you're playing, all of those things. I just feel like by the time we would be getting to whatever topic we might have chosen for today, we'd already be at a full episode's length. So we don't want to overstay our welcome too much for our any new listeners, and we gotta break it in. We gotta, just
ease it in there.
Ease it in. Yeah. Natural. So that's kind of what the agenda is for today. We're just going to catch up with you guys, talk about some industry stuff, talk about the games we've been playing, and then look a little ahead, talk about some of the ideas that we have. Of course, we're going to bring back the Experience Point episode, which is kind of like our book club for video games, where the three of us will all start a game at the same time, play through it, and then have a dedicated episode about that game, and just go into all the spoilers and all of that. And it can be classic games, it can be new games, everything in between. So I don't know. I'm rambling here. I'm just excited. I'm pumped up.
Me
it's
too,
a little
man.
hot in here. It's summer. It's summer all over the place. Well, at least for all of us, we're in the northern hemisphere. It's hot as hell here. It's gotten a little better. But you live in Phoenix, Taylor, so I can't really be caught complaining about this.
Yeah, dude, it's been a brutal summer. I think we were talking a little bit before we got on the show here about the weather going around, and dude, I just find as I get older, I'm 31 now, so the heat just gets to you more and more every year that I live here, and it's kind of one of those things. It's like me and my girlfriend are always joking about, like, we're probably going to stay in Phoenix for a while until it becomes absolutely uninhabitable. And that might not be that far away. So, we have to...
It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. It's already barely hanging by a thread now, so I can't even imagine it in a decade. But, we'll hang with it here as it goes. But, dude, it's been a brutal summer. It was 118 the other day. My car has been having air conditioning issues at, like, literally the worst time. So it always kind of seems like, when it rains, it pours, right? Or if
pull
you're
yourself
in Phoenix,
up by
it
your
doesn't rain at
bootstraps
all.
and bake some cookies on your dashboard.
True. You know what? I could make some eggs on the sidewalk.
Yeah, fry some eggs on the sidewalk. That's a story I've actually, not the food cooking thing, but you're talking about it being uninhabitable as in future tense, which is funny. I guess that's I found it that way from the first weekend
from the get-go.
there.
Yeah.
When I moved to Phoenix,
look, there's
hello, kitty. There's a kitty cat. I was wondering if my little terrorist dog would be running in here.
Yeah.
At some point, but
they'll make guest appearances.
Well, I have I have a door back here this way that's closed, but the bathroom door over here I left open so that she can run in, because I'd rather have her just like run in than try and get in.
True.
Let me in.
Let me in. Yeah.
What's happening?
Like
what
Eric Andre. Let me in. Let me in.
Exactly. So if she wants to visit, that's cool. But yeah, a story I always tell people who have never lived in Phoenix is I moved to Phoenix on July 4th of 2010. And that weekend, I think we got there on like a Friday or Saturday. And that first weekend I was here, I had a pair of those really, really cheap, like $8 flip-flops.
Yeah.
And we were walking through a parking lot, I don't know, Costco or Walmart or whatever, a store parking lot, going to get some stuff for the apartment, the condo. And as I was walking across the blacktop, I made it about 25, 30 yards, and my feet really started to hurt. And I was like, I don't remember anything going on. And you did, that slow realization, like when you burn yourself while you're cooking or something, if something's too hot to touch, it's quick, but in your mind, it's like there's a lot of thought processes that go in your head before you actually physically react. And I was like, oh no, my feet are burning. And I looked down, and I had left a trail of like the melted little plasticky bits of my sandals.
That's crazy.
And it was like 117. It was one of those really, really, really hot days.
Yeah.
And they were cheap shit sandals. So I'm not trying to like tell everyone that, all of your shoes melt instantly like the surface of Venus. It's just, that was like the perfect lineup of variables, like really cheap, older, worn down sandals, and they melted on my feet. I threw them away when I got home from that trip, and that was my introduction to living in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah,
at least you got to throw them away, man. I'd be scared they're like melted into my skin for a few days.
No, it didn't melt off my feet like a cartoon. It was just like wearing away the bottom and just stripping the pieces off, and it was getting really soft. So I just like ran to the door, and it was fine. Like as soon as I got in, and everywhere you walk in Phoenix, like every time you walk into a building, it's like 60 degrees inside of every building. So you're just like, oh, like just kind of have like a small orgasm every time you walk into an air conditioning building. So it was fine. And I just was like, okay, well, I need to buy a little bit better shoes, I think, going forward. I can't be doing that. But I've never forgotten that moment. It was just so crazy. I don't know how I lasted a decade there. It gets hot here too. I mean, it's crazy here, but only for a little bit. Only for a little bit,
Yeah, it's not very long.
Nah, it's not too bad.
I remember this might have been like right around the time that we had like taken a little bit of a hiatus on the show, but I had remembered like hearing or seeing news reports that the Seattle or Washington State in general was having a huge heat wave. And most of the houses out there don't have air conditioning, I guess. So
true. Yeah, pretty much every year.
Really, really brutal for you guys up there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, that 1 year we had
when you and I lived in
brutal
Seattle.
summer, and it was over 90 degrees inside the house. Yeah, because we didn't have air conditioners.
Damn. And that house was new. That house in Seattle was built in 2005. The house that we were living in. So this was not some old ass house. They just never. Until recently, they did not build homes with AC. You've never really needed them, and it's a big cost saving thing. Where we're a little bit east of the mountains that split the state in half, and so all that rain and stuff doesn't get across those mountains. So it's a lot drier on this side of, and it's hot. We have like 4 seasons. That's my favorite thing. It's like we have true like 4 actual seasons. You have a windy, rainy ass spring. You have a really hot summer. You got a nice, like basic like white bitch fall with leaves and it's cooling off and there's pumpkin spice and everything. There's pumpkin patches and it looks like the whole valley looks gold and red. And then you have a deep, dark, really depressing, extremely cold winter and everything in between. So it's like we just kind of have the whole gamut here, which is pretty crazy. I love the winter because it's dark instantly and I play a lot more video games.
Right.
Yeah. There's not too many places in the country where you can experience actual 0 degree weather and over 100 degree weather within the same year.
Yeah, same calendar year sometimes. Yeah, it's definitely true. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's I like it a lot. I'd move back to Seattle if I had the option. But you know how it is. It's like
no question.
I was saying in Phoenix for like 7 years, I'd like to move back to Washington. So it takes time sometimes.
Yeah.
So let's jump in a little bit. There's so much to catch up on. Taylor, I don't talk to you a ton. We text back and forth and stuff, but one reason I'm so excited for doing the show again is just to get to talk to you on a regular basis. And
likewise.
And the crazy thing is, like, I could say the same for you, Kyle, because we get so busy, and this time of year for me is insane. So half of this is an excuse just to catch up with you guys. But I can't think of a better way to just start doing that than I want to hear about everything you've been doing in games since we last did this podcast. So obviously there's a lot of things to cover, but just start with what you're playing right now. I'm going to throw it to you, Kyle. I just kind of want to hear, what are some of the games you've been playing? What do you think about those games? And obviously we'll see if we've played any of them, but just catch us up a little bit on everything you've been playing over the last few months.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think right around when we had first kind of had our hiatus from the show, it kind of perfectly coincided with some instability in the job market for me. I was laid off by one of my companies I'd worked at for a couple years. And so I was kind of in a situation where until like kind of recently, where I've been like in a holding pattern with games. And so I've had to almost kind of take a little bit of a break from them, and only really within the last like year or so, or last 6 months, have really gotten back into playing more consistently. So honestly, the last couple of years have been filled with a lot of like MMOs, multiplayer games, things where I don't like, there's low investment to kind of get into it, like get in and get out sort of stuff. But the nice thing is that the last couple months is I've been able to really break back into that. And it's kind of a double-edged sword because I have such a big backlog already. I already had one in 2023, when things weren't going so well. Backlog. And now,
dude, if I had a nickel for every time we've said the word backlog, man, in the last like 2 years.
So true. But yeah, I mean, it seemed insurmountable even then, and now it's just like this, like might as well be the peak of Mount Everest. Like, I don't know if I'll ever actually reach it, but the last couple months have been nice.
You won't.
Yeah, you won't. You really won't. That's the thing. You can make your best effort, but who really knows, right? So, but yeah, last couple months for me have been cool. I've been jumping back into things, and I'm kind of doing a half backlog, like half newer game situation. And the issue that I'm finding this year is there's a lot of games that are coming out that I never played the first installment of. And I've always kind of felt like a kindred spirit with you, Ian, where it's like, I don't really like to jump into games on the second entry or the third entry. Like, no matter how well the developers set up an environment where you can play the newest game and really feel like you're not missing a beat, I just still feel like I am kind of missing something. And even if it's a situation where I'm like mainlining something, I at least want to like experience a little bit of it, you know? So, this year so far, I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, which has been really, really cool. And that was kind of brought on by the second one coming out earlier this year, which is getting like phenomenal reviews. Like, I think a lot of people are kind of pinning it as like what's going to be the game of the year this year, or at least is a shoe-in basically for the nomination.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to play it. So it was like kind of one of those things where like the Steam sale, the summer sale was going on, and it was pretty cheap to begin with. I think I bought it for like $4 or something like that on the Steam sale. So I've been playing that, and I literally just before we got on the show here was playing it, and just got to the opening sequence where it's like Kingdom Come Deliverance and the like title comes out. So like it has like a little intro, which is really, really cool.
Stupid long time of gameplay before they give you the title card. I feel like that's a thing now. They're like, you'll play a game for like 18 hours and you're like, I think I'm getting some good progress. It's like, Assassin's Creed. I'm like, what the fuck?
What is going on?
Oh no.
No, thankfully it wasn't. I think it was like I put maybe like 2 hours into it or something.
Yeah, it's a decent amount.
Yeah. So, but it's got a really, really cool intro, and I won't get into it for spoilers if anybody wants to try it, which I already recommend just based on 2 hours playing it. But it's got a really cinematic like opening, and like one that I felt was like more emotional than I was kind of expecting it to be. It does like a really good job of like hooking you in and making sure that like you want to finish this game. And I'm really enjoying like all the RPG elements of it. I think they're really well crafted. It almost seems kind of, and maybe just because I'm in the intro, it hasn't opened up to me yet. Like I don't really feel the sense that I could like go to a new town or something, or like go between towns and really do whatever I want. But I really love the mechanics. The sword play is really cool. It's definitely something that has a learning curve to it. It's very directional based, so it's like if somebody is swinging at you from above, you have to like block in the same direction, and it kind of becomes this cool like dance of like trying to block and parry different sword strikes while also kind of landing some of your own. And there's like heavy attacks and short attacks and jabs and stuff. So it's a really, really cool combat system. I've probably seen something like it before.
For Honor.
Yeah, but
it definitely pulls from For Honor. I feel like that was a revolutionary mechanic.
Yeah,
from that game.
100%. I mean, in the single player realm, though, nothing I've experienced on the.
Well, yeah, I think that's what makes it better, in my opinion. Because I get frustrated because people are just too good at it. Like For Honor was just like not my thing. I was just getting beat all the time.
Dude, that game was dripping in sweat.
Oh, dude, so true. It was fun though. It was a great multiplayer game.
It was.
Yeah,
it was just original. It was back when I used to commend Ubisoft for like being like, "What the hell is this? What a weird idea!" And someone greenlit it, and it just happened to work out. That game is still going.
Yeah, still going strong, and they've added a bunch of new factions. But yeah, it's a really cool combat system, and I think one of the things it does really well too is it makes big groups of people really scary to fight against. Like, I've never really felt the sense that there's a lot of games where you go into it like The Witcher or something, and you're getting attacked from all sides by like 5 or 6 different guys or like monsters or whatever, and you're like, oh, this is cool. I can just kind of dance between everybody and like effortlessly kind of cut them down. But in this game, it's like, no, you get into a group with like a fight with a group of 3 guys, and you got all of them taking turns kind of coming at you, and like some of them will kind of flank you and get behind you, and it's they're like out of your field of vision. And it's kind of crazy like what Warhorse Studios was able to do on, you know, a relatively speaking small budget. And I'm really impressed with it. So I've just been playing that a shit ton lately, and it's been fun. So
yeah,
but yeah,
that's one that's pretty high up there on the old backlog for me. Like,
it's an Ian game through and through too.
Oh yeah, I know. I've been told that many times, and I'll definitely play it. When I get into my stuff, I'll tell you all about how I am gonna get this done.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got to be ready to commit, because it's not something that you tiptoe and you'll play it for a little bit and then come back later.
Yeah,
it's a fully immersive game, and you're just going to be 100% in from beginning to end.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm really excited about it. I'm so glad to hear that you liked it. I know that those kind of really unique mechanics like that, and I will say, I guess for me, and I know you're only a couple hours in as well, so this is to both of you guys regarding this game. I am sometimes a little bit turned off by the super life simmy stuff, like, oh, you can't even save unless you sleep or learn alchemy to make. I'm like, okay, like, I mean, I gotta go make dinner, guy. Like, I'm not, that's the only.
I gotta make a real save potion.
There's a line there, like, with the Elder Scrolls. I love the fact that you can sleep, and I do get into a little bit of that. Well, if I were really in this dark, cold ass, forest, I would probably just camp out here and not march through and fight monsters. Like, I'll just camp out and then I'll move out in the morning. Like, these little kind of immersive sim elements that are in a lot of these games that make sense. But I think that might be one of the only things that kind of has made me slightly reticent to jump in. Is it's like, I don't know if I'm going to have the patience for some of those hyper detail. I remember getting this, Riley, I know you're probably listening. My nephew was telling me and our whole family at the dinner table once about about the blacksmithing. And he's like, yeah, you have to like stand there and make the metal really hot, and then you have to like hit right trigger and like hit the metal. And he was like, it's awesome. And it's like, this is cool. I love that that's a skill. But I'm also thinking, man, what could I be doing with that time? Right? If I'm actually sitting here blacksmithing, I feel like Prince is going to come out of his grave and be like, just learn the skill, like I said with Guitar Hero, which obviously is not the same, but I think that's the only thing. I need to have the time to invest and just be more willing to be like, yes, there's going to be some minute details that I'm not used to having to deal with in a game. but I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah, and I would feel so far, and like I said, keep in mind I'm only 2 hours in, so maybe it kind of comes to a head at some point, or like they kind of force you to engage with the mechanics more. But I kind of find myself also being one of those people that like doesn't get super into the like ultra uber realistic sim parts of different games, but it hasn't felt like too overbearing for me just yet. Um, and like I said, maybe that changes. I don't know. I've heard in the second one that came out this year that they've kind of scaled that back just slightly, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Kyle, you might be able to provide more insight.
Certainly. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be talking about it later, of course, but yeah, they definitely dial it back quite a bit to where, I think that was actually when they first came out with it, from what I read, there was a lot of complaints about it being just as like immersive as the first one, which was kind of the drawback for a lot of players. Was like, that's the reason why I didn't want to play a KCD one, which is exactly what you're saying, Ian. But I think they took the feedback and then they actually applied like different ways to actually save the game so that you can kind of work around it, which I don't think is in KCD one. So if you're going to play the first one, I mean, get ready. They take realism pretty seriously in that game. So,
Yeah.
but it's something that I tremendously respect, and it's not grindy in the sense of like old school, like classic WoW,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, I get it, but like, why? It's at least it plays a part in character development and actually becoming more immersed in the universe, and that's where I'm like okay with it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think that's kind of the crux of anything with art and with games, is like nothing should be gratuitous, right? It's like if you're just doing something for the sake of doing it, it's probably not going to be fun. But if it is really woven in to the whole feel of the game, then I could probably grow to appreciate it. And I think it's healthy to try stuff like that. Just because I know I don't normally like that doesn't mean you shouldn't try things like that. So that's cool. All right, Taylor, what else have you been playing, man?
Yeah, well, I guess speaking of super immersive elements that could bring you in and out, that transitions pretty well because I've also been playing a pseudo MMO type game. I've been playing Dune Awakening lately.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear about this.
Yeah, I know nothing about this other than the fact that I absolutely love the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've gotten my information from TikTok, so please take the floor.
Yeah, so Dune Awakening's been fun. So one thing you have to know about me is that I would say I wouldn't put it in like some of my least favorite genres of games, but it definitely has the chance to be for me, is a lot of these like survival crafting games. And it seems like over the last 5 years or so, there's been like a massive boom with them. Like, I don't know what, like ever since like DayZ and stuff, there's been like this really big push to make these like very like pseudo MMO, like open world multiplayer games that very much hinge on like you like eating and drinking water and like trying to survive and stuff like that. And a lot of those games are like super hit or miss for me. Reason being is because I get really into like the gameplay of actually like scavenging and like trying to pick up materials and like build stuff, but I've always felt like the mechanics of like actually having to drink all the time and like eat can get like a little bit intrusive. And then it kind of gets to the point where it's like, oh, I have to eat food like every like 5 minutes, and it's almost like not even realistic to how it would be in real life. Like you could easily go like 5 or 6 hours without eating and be okay. And like, but in some of these games I just feel like their scope for like how long it takes for you to hit these hunger and thirst thresholds is just way too thin. So I was kind of coming off the back foot already with Dune Awakening, but it just, the universe kind of speaks to me. Like you said, Ian, I really love the movies. And I've tried to read the book before. I have to go back and read it again at some point. But,
yeah, it's on another backlog of mine of books.
Yeah, true. And I'm just a fan of the universe and stuff, so I thought I would kind of give it a try, and I had known some other friends who were playing it, so it seemed like a good time to jump in. But it's really, really cool. It kind of starts you off with you creating your own character, and almost in like a traditional like D&D sort of way, like picking like your background. So like, you get to pick like what planet you come from, and it's really interesting because each of them provide you like a different stat bonus, and you could say like what your background is. So if you're like a mentat or you're a soldier or like whatever the case is, like there's a couple other different ones like scientist or something to that effect, but they all provide you these really cool like bonuses for like the gameplay. So I think I made myself like a mentat, and I come from some like ice planet or something. And you'll have to forgive me because I don't know the wider Dune universe. Surprisingly, I feel like I would know a lot more about it, but I'm a relatively newer fan.
Same.
I feel like I really only just got into it with the movies.
Though, if you're on, does it take place on Arrakis, the
it does.
Planet?
It
so
does,
your guy's screwed then, right?
Yeah. Well, so you do get certain like debuffs, I guess, for being there, but also like certain strengths as well. Like I think like one of the bonuses you get from being from this planet, I guess, is that they're really good builders there. So they're really efficient at building shelters. So you get like some kind of bonus for being able to build shelters and like get like more materials, like when you like are building out your huts and stuff. So it's really, really cool. But yeah, I'm just kind of in the beginning where they're sort of like teaching you the mechanics of like staying hydrated. Like you have like a really cool like blood filtering machine that you can make where it's like you'll like get into a fight with a bunch of scavengers and you'll like take their blood from them and then like put it in this filtering machine that allows you to get water from it.
Separates the water. Yeah, they kind of mentioned that, I think, in the in the films. And to anyone listening who loves the books, we know the books are first, and we know they're probably better, but
right.
We know from the movies. We're the layman's here. So yeah, I remember they talk about that. So that's cool that they incorporate like really lore specific stuff into a mechanic in the game itself. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, one of the really cool things I've noticed about it too is that it takes place in kind of like an alternate history to the actual like Dune universe. So in this universe, and this is all explained within like the opening cutscene, so I'm not like spoiling any like crazy detail or anything like that. But in this universe, it's almost as if Paul Atreides like doesn't exist, and instead like his parents like had a daughter instead that died, I guess, in some kind of like raid. And I think it takes place like 1,000 years, like a couple thousand years or something before the events even take place, and it's like almost like Paul Atreides is like has a third eye to view into this other universe where he doesn't exist. It's really, really cool. But they explain all of this in the beginning cutscene, and I guess like all of the houses are there on Arrakis, and they're sort of like you can kind of like pledge allegiance to one of them or like work with them to like take over certain parts of the planet. So there's almost kind of like a cool little like Helldivers sort of moment where it's like the planet is being controlled by like certain factions or whatever, and it's really cool. I'm super early in it, so not enough to speak at length about it, but I felt like the mechanics for like drinking and stuff like that are really not too intrusive yet, so it's been really fun to kind of dive into it.
Your mic is off.
Classic. First, I did it. I just try. It helps me to be muted because then I'm like I shut up and listen. Because like when I have a microphone in front of my face, I'm like, so I just mute that shit and listen. Is it voice acted? Like is there like a story? Is there quite a bit of story element, or is it just kind of an intro story and then they just drop you and you're doing the survival thing and there's like no more narrative?
Kinda. I think I'm still a little too early to tell right now. They do have like an opening intro cinematic to set up the universe, and then you have kind of like a mentor who's kind of like I don't know if he's a Fremen. I think he might be, but he's like giving you directions on like how to survive on the planet. So you kind of like get into a situation where you like crash land on Arrakis, and this guy like kind of helps you like get started. So he like acts as sort of like a tutorial to kind of like tell you how to survive. Okay. So I don't know. I think probably once you get into the wider like universe and like faction conflict, it's probably there's probably isn't like a very guided story if I had to guess, but I know in the intro sequence it seems like they do a lot of like lore building and stuff. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's super cool, man. I'd be interested in trying that out at some point for sure.
Especially if you got a group going. I think that's what's really important for those types of games. Because I usually fall off if I'm like, if I don't, because the universe is very limiting if you're just by yourself at, to a certain point. I feel like the only one that really kind of gets it right with that is ESO, where there's also a heavy focus on the single player side of it. So I'm always concerned when I see the MMOs and I'm like, but can I play it by myself and enjoy it?
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
No, definitely. I mean, I think that's the reason that's the only one that's ever really stuck for me, is because I just ignore everyone and just play it like an Elder Scrolls game,
Right.
in third person. And just that's all I do. Since you can tell some of the story takes a beating, like that some of the moment to moment storytelling is not great, but most of the lore stuff in ESO is so good that it makes you want to kind of see the whole overarching story of each chapter and all that. And they've done an excellent job with that. Man, I'm looking at these lists. Taylor, you're also playing Metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
Would this be the game that gets Ian into JRPGs or not?
I don't know.
And Kyle
probably not.
Kyle and I are similar with this stuff.
I feel like I know you too well at this point, Ian, and I just don't know if it's really going to be for you. I think I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, I don't know if it's. I just don't know if
ever
the genre is for you. Yeah, I just don't know if it's for
You're
you.
hopeless.
It's okay. Yeah. But I will say it is really good. So it comes from the Persona team, who makes the Persona Shin Megami Tensei games, which I love a lot. And this is kind of their first crack at doing a sort of high fantasy kind of game. So you're kind of taking the Persona elements, like the life sim, sort of dating sim / like JRPG like elements, and you're kind of rolling it into like a fantasy universe that I think is really, really well crafted. It's a super long game, just like Persona is. So I'm really, really taking my time through it. I think it probably gets to like the 100-hour mark or something like that. So I'm really just trying to play it almost as if it's like I'm watching a TV show or like an anime or something.
It's a lot of metaphors.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to take my time with it, make sure I don't get burnt out. But it's really, really good. One of the things I love about the game is it has this interesting sort of sub-story where you are the main character kind of in like a fantasy universe, but the main character brings this storybook around with him that's supposed to be kind of like a fairy tale, but all of the cutscenes when you read the book are supposed to be like it's our reality, but like almost like a utopian society kind of reality. Because like the main character will like read this book and it talks about how like there's a society that doesn't exist basically, where it's like people get along and like there's no rich, there's no poor, there's just people coexisting. But it's like people dressed like us in our reality. And I find it to be a really interesting kind of like juxtaposition, whereas it's like us in our world would have a fairy tale of like knights and dragons and damsels in distress, and then in this world it's like our society. It's kind of mixed. I'm saying it really inelegantly, but like it's really, really cool. I love the idea of it. So
I was just you were doing such a good job of describing like the perspectives and the way the story is told. I was like, I started to laugh because I was like, those intrusive thoughts that you get,
yeah.
I was like, what if I just interrupted Taylor while he's like doing a really good job of describing this game? I was like, this sounds gay, like, which is not what I thought about. I mean, I don't think, but it started to make me laugh because I was like, man, he is in it and like really killing the description of this to the point where I'm like, I want to know more about it. And then that
I
made
would
me
have
laugh.
legitimately probably
I
fucking
know.
cracked up laughing,
I
dude.
know. I know.
It's got great reviews. I'm looking it up
Oh
on
yeah,
Steam while you're talking.
it was nominated for Game of the Year last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I think it could probably, once I'm done with it, I think I'm like 20 hours into it or something like that. It could end up like an all-timer for me if I keep going.
Wow.
So
I think this is where my struggle with the whole JRPG thing comes in, because I understand what I don't like about most of those games, and we could beat that to death, but we already know what those things are.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the reason that I even bring it up is because it's like I have so many good friends and like people that I follow online and critics who have great taste in games that love so many of these, and I'm like, I'm missing something. I can't. I want to know. I want to enjoy it, you know. But
yeah,
I don't
I
need
think
30
I'm
more games on my backlog, I guess. So
yeah, I think I'm kind of at the point with JRPGs where if you're not somebody that kind of grew up with anime like really
yeah,
presently, like from like your childhood till now, it's really, really difficult to get people into it. I found like the vast majority of people just can't get into it if it's not something that they were kind of there for in the beginning. So there's situations where you absolutely could and you could find things to really like about it, but knowing you, like how I know you in particular, Ian, I think you would probably not be into it. So
I know it sucks. Like I don't like that about myself as far as my tastes go.
What matters to me that's really important as well is just, you know, how the main characters are and how they act. Um, I think that's oftentimes where it just kind of misses. It flies right over my head for some reason.
Yeah,
When it comes to JRPGs and in general animes, I feel like, because I feel like the closest I ever got to one was um, when I was a kid was Dragon Ball Z,
mhm.
which isn't really like, you know, when you look at like metaphor. When I look at the picture, I'm thinking like, oh man, it looks like, you know, it's heavily sourced from like popular animes that I've seen. So
yeah. I feel like that's sort of like, from what I know of people who really enjoy Dragon Ball and then went on to love anime, is like that is what was kind of the gateway, like babies first anime,
yeah,
you know, is like that is sort of
For sure.
what got people into the art style and like the way that they tell the story in 50 different pieces where like they're almost about to fight for like half a season, you know, because each episode's like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, so you have all the build up and everything, and just
Mhm.
like I mean, I think that's all part of it. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's kind of like sports. I feel like, you know, like
yeah.
when someone who doesn't just like, they do not like sports, and they don't know anything about it, and they didn't grow up with anyone who cares about it. I mean, I totally understand someone looking at that and just being like, what the, I, you couldn't begin to get me interested in like these
Right.
20 somethings like bashing each other in the head and running around. It's like it's so much to take on, you know, and all the strategy and all the terminology and just like the whole vibe of all of it is just so specific. It's like most of the time the reasons we like or love anything is because we kind of associate it with something, you
Right.
know. And football for me is like, football and sports in general is just about hanging out with my family and my friends in the place that I grew up from, rooting on a team that is representing the same place that I grew up from, right? Like that's the sort of human connection. And then from there, you build on what you find interesting about it. But if you don't have that first block, like you said,
Mm.
to your point, Kyle, I think that's probably what we're missing, which
Mhm.
But
is regrettable in some ways.
it is. I do feel like my perspective is slightly changing. I recently, recently, I want to say like 6 months ago, 6 to 8 months ago, I watched Arcane, the animated series for League of Legends,
Yeah.
and really was blown away about, you know, how well that show was done. And it kind of opened my mind a little bit. I've been asking some friends about like animes that I should watch that I would get into, because there are quite a few that have a more mature tone that I think that I would actually get into. So I'm trying to change my perspective, because when I see the front cover artwork of Metaphor, I feel like I hate it. But
It's
I know
weird,
there's
man.
got to be a lot more to it than that, especially when you look at how many, like, the great reviews that it has. It's 90% are positive. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's no way that it's not that good, but you have to go in with that. You have to appreciate the things that we like actively dislike.
Right.
Ghost in the Shell, man. If you haven't seen Ghost in the Shell, that's like my favorite anime.
So good.
We'll watch it together. I have this really
The
sick
Cyberpunk
Blu-ray.
anime too. Edge Runners.
I have watched
they're gonna
so good.
They're coming out with more, right? They
They
just
are.
announced that.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that, actually.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell, man, is a classic. We should watch that. We can
I'll watch
do
Ghost.
a little episode about it.
Yeah, I'll watch that. But if you watch Arcane,
oh yeah, I've always been totally down to watch that. Just need the time, man.
You would like Arcane too, Ian. I have if that's like right up your alley. I feel
I've heard nothing but good things from a lot of people that I trust on it. So definitely. All right, the last one on your list, and then I'm gonna kick it to Kyle after this, Taylor. And this is probably the one that I'm most keen to hear a little bit about. No spoilers. Silent Hill 2, man. Please tell me more about this. That is very high on my backlog. I've been getting into a lot of these remakes of late 90s, early 2000 horror games that I missed because I didn't have a PlayStation 2 and I was young and scared shitless of like everything. And so I missed out on the Resident Evils and the Silent Hills and all of these great horror games. And Taylor, you and I played through, you like watched me stream Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
And I'm always talking to you when I played through the Resident Evil 3 remake and the 4 remake and all of those. So that's a journey. Like, I feel like this is one of the next games I'm going to play in that genre. So I would love to hear your thoughts so far on Silent Hill 2.
Yeah, I'm really early in this game, and I've always been kind of more of a Resident Evil fan than I have been a Silent Hill fan. So I know kind of like bits and pieces of the story from like the first one, but this one is like a little bit different. And really what kind of got me into it was I had a friend of mine who played through it and is also a really big Resident Evil fan. And he was like, I think it's my favorite horror game I've ever played, like bar none. And I was like, wow, that's like really, really high praise. So yeah. I had initially really wanted to play it, and like my interest in it like sort of skyrocketed. And then, you know, it's also hard to not be invested in the Bloober Team story about how like they sort of made all of these really bad games that like nobody was really into. And then they just fucking knocked it out of the park with this game. And now they've got that Chronos game coming out, and how the studio was like, we're done making bad games. Yeah. I just feel really fired up for them. Like, I feel like that's such a cool like little victory. So I went into this really excited, and I'm still very, very early into it. It's kind of one of those games I've been playing like every like 3 weeks or so between other things, if I have like a couple hours to spend on it at night. And it's good. It's more atmospheric horror, so there hasn't been a ton of action in the game so far. I have heard you get more weapons as the game goes on, and it does become a little bit more kind of Resident Evil style, kind of combat oriented as the game progresses. But I'm finding it to just be really scary, atmospheric. Like, it has a great soundtrack that accompanies it that just gives the whole thing a very eerie vibe. And it's very, very cryptic. Like, I'm kind of going into it and I like don't really understand a whole lot about it. I don't really understand like what's going on. I know that like the game isn't really meant to be taken super literally, and I think a lot of it is kind of more of like metaphor or like an allegory for certain things. So I'm kind of keeping that in mind as I'm sort of playing through it and trying to connect the wires from that point. But it's very, very good. And I think if you are somebody who is a big fan of like the Resident Evil games, and especially the remakes that they've been coming out with over the last like 5 or 6 years or so, you'll feel right at home here. I feel like it plays pretty similarly. Same kind of dodging mechanics, same sort of like backtracking sort of Metroidvania style, like, oh, I need to open up a door in the hospital, but I need like a key from the, I don't know, the baker market or whatever.
Right.
So I have to grab that and then go back to this other spot. So it feels very at home there, but I'm liking it a lot so far. It's I need to play a little bit more of it. I think it's been a while since I've really tapped into it, and I think I'm maybe 5 hours in, but it's so good so far.
My dogs are losing their shit right now. So somebody say something.
Oh, I couldn't hear a thing, honestly. So
that game sounds so good, and I would love to watch somebody else play it. That's all I will say.
Dude, let's do it.
Because
seeing you guys play it, both play it.
I don't know if you know this, Taylor. I'm one of the biggest pussies when it comes to horror games.
That's what makes it so fun, though.
Oh man, I can't. I just can't. It to a certain extent, though. Like I can play like Alan Wake, and I could play like just kind of like shooter based games where you can actually fight back, which is why the newest Silent Hill game that's coming seems very interesting to me, because you know, if I can defend myself, it makes it different.
Mm-hmm.
But like some of the Resident Evil games that I've seen, it's like, especially what was the most recent one, the Village, what's it called?
Oh yeah.
I watched Ian play like the first
7. You were watching me play 7.
Okay, I watched you play the first several hours of that, and I was like, there's no way I would ever play that.
If the remakes, the Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 remakes it's so weird how this like stuff all connects, right? Because it's like Resident Evil 4 came out in 2004, I think. And it was the first one that was like third person over the shoulder. And it was like a shooter, you know, third person shooter. It was like action horror. So that game came out and was like considered one of the great games of all time. And then Dead Space was very clearly inspired by Resident Evil 4. And it became one of the iconic action horror shooters of all time. And then Capcom was like, hey, let's remake Resident Evil 2, which had the old school like 90s tank controls where the camera's down. You're looking down and trying to move the person around the room with one analog stick. They're like, let's make Resident Evil 2 like Dead Space, which was made kind of inspired by Resident Evil 4. So like this is weird like feedback loop of
it's
these
cyclical
games.
Yeah.
So I think you would probably like 2 and 3 and 4 because they're those third person, you're armed to the teeth and you're totally able to defend yourself. Though there are enemies that you can't kill, you have to run from, but for the most part you can kill pretty much everything. So you can just, you know, you can just go through the hallways and just, you can shoot at nothing and be scared. And it's good. But,
that'll be me.
Yeah.
I mean, real life, I'm probably dying.
Oh well, yeah.
We all are. Yeah.
Oh, no, I just meant like I would be like frozen in terror, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to playing that. We'll have to, maybe we can do that. Well, we have to get Alan Wake 2 we have to restart that and play it again. This fall. Because we started that last year before he moved, and I never picked it back up. So that would be cool to get back into that. So I've got I always save a couple of horror games for like October, November, you know, get through a few every year.
There you go.
Kind of my tradition. So that's awesome, man. I'm glad you're liking it so far. I can't wait to hear more as you get further in as we go with more episodes, because I'm hoping you continue to really, really enjoy it. Kyle, I'm looking at your list, man. Is there one that you is one of these games you've been playing that you want to talk about like the most? Like, I got to talk about this right now. You want to start with?
Well, there's a couple. I mean, I know Taylor and I have both played through Clair Obscur, so I definitely would like to talk to Taylor about that. I know we've kind of texted about it a little bit, but definitely want to kind of pick your brain a little bit more, especially the more that I've thought about it. God, I feel like my opinion about that game has fluctuated quite a bit.
Same.
And while I was playing, that was happening. Mm-hmm. There was moments where I'm like, this is absolutely insane. And I can understand why it's so groundbreaking for people. And then there was like really dull moments where I'm like, I don't really care that this is happening.
So crazy. I feel like we're right in sync with that.
Yeah. So I guess, well, yeah, let's get into Clair Obscura. That it starts off completely as a 10 out of 10. The beginning of it is incredible. The music really captures you. The artwork, it's like, what is this? The only thing that like really irritated me, which I'll touch on later, is just one small little mechanic thing that really irritates me. But like the things that I really loved about it is obviously the soundtrack. That's something that I could listen to like outside of gaming for probably like the rest of my life. That's something I'll always like reference to. I think it's like a good, not replacement, but like similar to like when I listen to lo-fi hip hop and I like want to do something. I feel like that soundtrack is like perfect for that. The gameplay is like somehow like engaging and challenging while being slower paced and relaxing, which is something that I personally really enjoy, especially as I'm getting older. It's like some of these like mechanically intensive games are just too much for me now. And sometimes I just want to sit back and just press X, or just press circle and like get through a really good story and like not have to worry about it too much. And I feel like you can kind of do that with this game, but at the same time, with each enemy that you're facing, the timing is different. You've got to figure out how to play against each individual character. And so it is challenging, but in a different way. Dude, yeah, I hate dude, those guys are breaking ankles. Absolutely breaking ankles.
So ridiculous, man.
There have been some pretty great memes on TikTok about that, that's for sure.
Yeah, there have. It's
like from so soft bosses.
Yeah, it is. It's like I've never played a game like this. I'm not like I've played a little bit of turn-based stuff, but I've never played. I can't remember playing a game like this where Alicia will be sitting with me and we're playing it because she's really into the story. We're playing it, and I'm in a battle, and I don't hit a parry or a dodge or whatever, and like instead of just getting mad, like how classic rage, oh fuck this, I don't do that. It's like I'm playing, and it's like what I was talking about earlier with the burning thing in your brain doesn't really like I miss the parry, and it's just like, oh god, I suck. I fucking suck at this game, man. I'm so bad at this game. Like I just hate myself because I'm like, just hit the button at the right time, you idiot.
Dude, some of them are so hard.
It's tough, dude.
Yeah,
it really is.
Especially
the last portion of the game too is like a gauntlet, bro. Just like, you're like
100% a gauntlet.
Like,
it's like a rhythm game.
Yeah, basically.
It was that part was a lot of fun too. I want you to finish this damn game, Ian, so that I can talk about it more.
It's up next on my like. I know I've started it, but it's like the next primary thing for me. As soon as I finish the other one.
Yeah, one of the main things I would like to nitpick is involving the story. Is the reason why I say that. So I would love to pick your brain on that when you do finish that. And then of course, I mean my last thing that I love about it is just the art style. I think it's so incredibly unique. Yeah, it's one of those games where like, because I've been getting into MetaQuest 3 quite a bit. Well, I was into MetaQuest 2 quite a bit too. But it's one of those games where I was like, if they could like capture this and put this in a VR game, I would be absolutely blown away by this. Not that I wasn't already, but like seeing the scale of the enemies and being able to have that context in a VR headset would be incredible. But the art style is just breathtaking, to be honest. It's the way I would describe it overall is a very beautiful game.
Yeah,
I agree. That's the only way I could sum it up. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and I feel like sometimes when we use, we assign like words to describe how good the fidelity of a game is. It's like, that's not even what we're talking about. It's like, it has such a strong sense of art direction and such a a dedication to what it's wants to look like, and it's extremely unapologetic, and they were so clearly not trying to be like anyone else, and they had an idea. It feels like maybe the art team just got like really high on mushrooms potentially, and we're like, we got to make a game with all of this in it, and I think it's all the better for it, you know.
Mm.
Absolutely. I mean, even the things that look ugly are beautiful in a way in that game. But
yeah,
the only thing that I would say, and we've talked about it in the group chat quite a bit, is the reason why I don't say that this is game of the year is really going to be involving the story and the character development in a lot of ways, which I do want to get into with you. But one thing that I have to say, because it really irritates the shit out of me.
I know what this is.
Why do I have to press a button to progress the dialogue? What are we doing? Is it not 2025? I mean, what are we doing?
Is there not a way to auto do it?
There's specific types of so some conversations are not like that, but there's other ones. It's like when you're running around and kind of an open area with multiple characters to speak to, like they say something and then a prompt comes up on the screen and they'll just stand there. And then you hit X and then you're, whoever you're playing as, like Gustavo.
But then if you hit it too early, it just skips the dialogue. And it's like, all right, come on, like just play the dialogue. I want to hear it. I want it to be seamless.
Just make it a conversation. Like I don't need to hit X.
I can't even remember if there was an auto play button. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm so like already immersed in that genre that like maybe it just didn't like click with me. But I don't know. I don't know why. I could have sworn there was an auto play.
And I know that I probably will get a lot of flack from a lot of JRPG like lovers. So maybe it's just something I just don't understand because I don't play it.
No, if it's not there, it absolutely should be there. Because I mean, like Metaphor has a auto like progress button.
Oh, that'd be great.
So I mean,
like if I have to choose different types of dialogue, that does happen sometimes. I get it. Like you got to pause that. But if when they're just talking back and forth, it's like just move it along. Like let's make it sound like a natural conversation.
Yeah, you have all these weird gaps, And I was terribly frightened. Whoa, that sounds terrible. Like why do I need to hear a little button like ba-ding, 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 through each? Yeah, it is. It is very annoying. It is extremely annoying. All right, Kyle, tell me. You've got some interesting ones on here that I want to talk to you about. Actually, I'm going to save those ones because I'm in listening mode right now. Let's hit on KCD2 because we can kind of expand upon the fact that Taylor's playing the first one. Mm-hmm. Did you play the first one?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Several years ago on PC. Back when I was living with Sean before you had moved out to Seattle, I had played that game, and I stumbled upon KCD1 just randomly. It was on a Steam sale, and I was so bored that day, not sure what to do, and I was just scrolling through Steam for like the last 2-3 days, and I kept going across KCD1 and seeing all the reviews, and I'm like, man, this looks good, but I don't know yet. And then when I finally played it, it's like you were saying, Taylor, that opening scene is just it really just grabs you by the heart and pulls you in immediately. And I was like, okay, I absolutely love this game. And to kind of like talk about KCD1 a little bit, I mean, the gameplay is difficult to learn, and that is a little bit of a drawback if you're not looking to try too hard at a video game, because I know I just talked about it. But the reason why I love it in this game is because of the main character, Henry. Where he comes from and his background and where it starts, it makes sense as to why you are struggling to learn how to fight, to, wield a sword and a shield. He hasn't done any of these things, and he's learning while you're learning. And that's something that I really love about the story. They really put a lot of effort into making sure everything that you're doing is incredibly immersive, even if it is irritating, because it's important for you to understand what like Henry is going through the entire story. But then with KCD2, again, they come out with this incredible opening scene. You start off. I don't want to. I won't spoil anything about it, but you start off in a pretty badass battle. Is the cutscene? So it's just right off the bat. You hear the cannons booming out, and like your speakers are just blaring. If you have a good amount of bass, it's incredible. You can hear the swords, clanging against each other, people screaming, yelling. It's an incredible experience. And what I love about this game is the characters are just top notch. When you play this, it's like one thing that irritates me a lot about most games, and it's something that I do kind of nitpick a little bit with Claire Obscure, is I don't really find the characters to be 100% believable in a sense, not very relatable in a sense. Mm. With KCD, each individual character that you meet and you run into is unique, and they have their own story, and they're really in depth, even like small little things when you run into people on the side of the road. And for me, I've only played about like 8 hours or so, maybe like 10 or 12 so far. And I've had to pick up everything again and learn how to do everything again. But like the world is incredibly immersive. Just to give you kind of a little bit of a background. So it's like kind of got that survival aspect. You do have to eat. It's not overbearing. Like you were mentioning, Taylor, it's not like you're having to eat 24/7. You can eat one good meal and be good for the whole day, essentially.
Nice.
Which, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that's really important because I don't want this to be like an eating sim,
Yeah. Seems that it's what it always devolves into sometimes. Like if
absolutely.
It's not done well.
Yeah. It's like you ran for like 10 minutes, so you're like completely down to zero again. You have to eat again. But
and it always gives you like some audio cue, like you're hungry. I'm like, oh god. Or if he's thirsty, he's like, ah. I'm like, okay, dude. You just had a gallon of water like 30 seconds ago.
Right. But yeah, I mean, and especially like what you're talking about, Taylor, you have to like really, this game really makes you think in the context of like, is that safe? Should I be doing this? I need to plan around it before I do it. That sort of realism is really hard to pull off, I think, in a video game. And they do it so damn well. It's like, if I'm going to go, if I take this quest, or even if I'm just going to go walk from one town to the other, that in itself is an adventure, and I have to kind of like plan around it. I have to think about what time of the day it is, right? Because if we're close to nighttime, I probably shouldn't be traveling out on the road right now because it is dangerous, and I'm more likely to get somebody that's trying to rob me or kill me, steal my horse, something like that. And then on the other flip side of it too, it's like, if I know that I have to go to an enemy camp, I probably don't want to go during the day because I know there's 6 or 8 people there, and I don't care how skillful I am, I'm going to die if I fight 6 or 8 people.
Right.
For sure.
There is that realistic aspect to it, and they're smart
not John
too.
Wick with swords.
Yeah. No. And so all of that kind of plays into it. It's like, if I'm going to go, try to fight these people, I'm probably going to have to wait until nighttime now. So now I'm actually waiting until it gets darker out, and then I'm going to try to approach them that way. And then like one little thing that like really mattered to me, and it was such a simple little thing, is the AI are actually intelligent, really intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, I was in the middle of the day. I was like 3 hours in, and I forgot how easy it is for you to get into legal trouble in this game. Like you can accidentally like steal something or like get thrown in jail for something random, and like you don't even realize what you were doing at the time, and then you get caught so easily. So I was walking around this house and I was trying to find this quest, and I was interacting with the shop owner, and then I walked into a room and kind of like went up this ladder that went up into the attic essentially of the house, and there's this chest sitting there, and it was easy lock picking. And so I go to try to lockpick it, but I don't know how to lockpick. So I end up messing it up and my lockpick breaks. Somebody goes, "What?" And they can hear me. So I run out the window. Nobody has seen me doing this, by the way. I run out the window and I take off. Okay. But then I come back later into the town. And they approached me later on, and I could see the status updates going on that, they're getting suspicious of it. But because I was there around that time, the AI was basically deducted that this happened around the time that he was here. Even though I didn't see him doing it, I know it was him who was trying to break into my chest. And so then I alerted the guards, and now all the guards are waiting for me to return back to this town so that they can arrest me.
Yeah.
It's like that sort of stuff. You don't get that in other video games. And that's why, for me, this game is pretty much game of the year for me right now. I want to play a lot more of it, of course. And then there's going to be Ghosts that comes out, so we'll see about that. But for me, like, that level of detail and how intelligent each character is and how important and in depth they are is just on a whole nother level. And it's the reason why I'm like, let's chill on Claire Obscure a little bit.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, I feel like Claire hits with that flash, the art, the beauty, right? It's like immediate, right? I feel like KCD has to be absorbed and played, and you have to put time into it, and you have to experience enough of it to get those sort of emergent stories that come out of it, like with the lock picking, the lockpick breaking and you getting caught, and like that whole, those kinds of things they don't happen when you just start the game. Like, you have to really play through it and get and experience those things. That's probably why I feel like you're not hearing it quite as much as you might be with something with Claire, where it's just immediately evident that it's different, it's pretty, and we know it was on a low budget. But yeah, man, that's the kind of stuff that I used to talk about when I couldn't wait to play games 20 years from now. It's like not knowing that we would be, playing like Madden now.
Yeah.
Just like shit, everything sucks. Like, I didn't know that was going to happen. I was like always dreaming of games of like, man, someday it's going to be like this. And like, that would be an example of something I would have come up with as an example of how games would improve in the future.
100%.
Oh, dude, my 13-year-old brain would have melted over KCD, to be honest.
For sure. Imagine being 13 now. You'd spend all the time playing Fortnite. You'd miss all
these kids don't know.
Yeah.
No clue.
There's some kid, dude. There is some dorky kid who likes history who's just melting down over KCD.
Oh, 100%.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
super cool. It's going to be their favorite game ever.
Yeah, I would have absolutely loved it. I probably would have gotten so frustrated and died a lot. I mean, that's definitely one of those games where you have to check your ego and understand that if you're kind of like a Souls player who thinks that they can just, that they can just skill their way out of everything,
your way out of trouble.
Yeah. It's not gonna happen in this game. If you see 3 people, you need to be smart about it. Yeah. Like, you don't just go in and beat people down. This game will kick your ass, and it will teach you that you're not going to do that here.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Eventually it'll happen. Probably be a while, but we'll make it happen. It sounds excellent. So you're still playing Avowed, huh?
I'm actually almost finished with it. Which,
oh wow!
I will only say this. Okay, I played it, just on my bed, like actually being into it for about maybe a day or two, and then it quickly became I will play this while I'm working, because the gameplay is fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Like the fighting, all of that, they really nailed that part of it. It's a lot of fun. It, it may get repetitive at times, but it's diverse enough, and you're able to kind of like mix things up with like, you can do spells, or you can be ranged pretty quickly. You can swap between your two weapon sets and have it be viable throughout the entire game. Those things I love about it. And then the RPG side of things, the leveling is pretty fun, and the upgrading weapons is fun. And I mean, there's a lot left on the table with that, but the story I could care less. And
It's so boring.
yeah, it's
Which is
so
such
basic.
a shame, dude. Like, it really is such a shame that like that game went through as much turmoil as it did.
Yeah.
Because I was playing Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2 like in anticipation for Avowed. I still haven't played Avowed yet. I'm gonna get into it at some point, but like just knowing the like rich world that was created in those games, and like having all this expectation, it just really sucks that like they like that it started off as a multiplayer game and then they shelved it, and then by that time it was too late. Like, it sucks, man. And
that whole debacle is a nightmare. I don't blame anybody for that game being, well, I do blame somebody, but not the developers for that game being bad.
Whoever made the decision to make it multiplayer in the first place is probably where the blame should lie, because it's kind of like the world. You can tell when you're playing Avowed that the world has really rich and interesting lore. That's not really
absolutely
the problem. The problem is the lack of interactable, like just like the way that your character interacts in the world and the way that the other characters interact with the world ruins the whole thing. It's like a really, all the NPCs stand in the exact same spot that they're always in at all time. It's just it feels very old. It feels very dated. It feels very empty. It just doesn't, it feels like a video game, and it's not trying it like an old video game. And it's like, you're just kind of dropped into this world, and it's just, you're just seeing right through all of it the whole time. It's very mechanical, and the combat's fun, but yeah, the story is just, I don't know. It's just like, it's just not, there's just nothing going on that's grabbing you really at all. And everything feels so lifeless and dull that it was really hard for me to get through it, because I just like was not motivated to go see what was happening. It's like, this character, I don't know. I could almost see the actors in the VR, like in their VO booth, like, and they're like, they had like a script and they're like, damn, I didn't realize that was going to happen. It's just like,
yeah, it's so bad.
And then of course, the only character that's worth a damn is the voice actor who did Garrus, and the guy is just Garrus again.
Yeah.
So that really ruins it, because it's like, why is Garrus in Avowed? He's even kind of like a blue alien guy.
Yeah.
Like, and he's obviously, this is a fantasy world. He's not an alien, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's a creature. He's some kind of like creature.
Like a mix between like a Drell and an Asari to me.
Yeah.
I think they're called like Aonoma or something like that.
Yep. I'm pretty sure something like that. Yeah. So, I mean, it's almost like they knew, like, well, let's just kind of lean into that because people will like it. He's like, yeah, he's good. This voice actor is great, but it's just Garrus. Like, the whole thing just feels like that. It just doesn't feel like it has its own identity. It just feels like it's kind of borrowing from lots of other stuff. And I fell off of it after about 6 to 8 hours. I was just like, man, I got way too many games to play to sink, 30, 40, 50 into this. So I don't think I'll go back to it.
There's certain types of games like that where I'm like, this is something that I would enjoy just playing while I'm working.
Sure.
Because there are moments at work where I've got a lot of downtime and I'm just waiting for a call to come in, and that's like, Avowed is the perfect game for me to just kind of just play in the background, and if somebody calls, I can pause it, and I don't care about the dialogue, so I'm skipping through that.
Anyways.
Yeah.
That's a good way to get some achievements.
I just got a few today.
All right, and then going down the list here, we got some Total War happening. I mean, what would a what's playing segment of the Solo Gamer podcast would be complete without a Total War game? You're playing Pharaoh. You're playing, I assume, what's it called? Dynasty? Is it Dynasties? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Is that the newest one? I forget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that horribly flopped, and then they did a lot of work to really bring it back.
Yeah, I have some mixed feelings on it still. So I want to hear you. I mean, you've been playing it. You wrote it down on your list. You had some things you wanted to say. So I want to hear. Tell me about your experience with that so far. And
well, it is kind of mixed too. I think overall it's an okay game, which is better than what it started out as. I mean, it wasn't even really a game when it first started out. I mean, it was kind of like a half-baked thought. I will say I'm thoroughly if you're going to play this game, you have to play as an Egyptian faction, and I would almost say that you have to play as Ramesses, because he just has the best story throughout the entire game so far. And I've played about 3 or 4 different campaigns, and it just doesn't hit as hard. Like right now, I'm just trying out Troy just because I like the faction.
Sure.
I like playing the mechanics. They're usually more ranged, which is something I've always enjoyed about Total War games. But with the Pharaoh mechanic specifically, it just makes more sense with this theme of the game, where there's a lot more politics involved, and you're actually every turn you're doing something that's kind of pushing yourself either towards the throne or making sure that you stay on it for the rest of the game. So there's a lot of political intrigue that I like about it. The way that you're able to, do certain, like, I guess, missions or acts. I don't know what you would call it. But you're able to speak with the court, or, maybe backstab or embezzle somebody, or, befriend somebody and utilize them in order to help you. Yeah. In order to help you, backstab somebody, which in the end helps you, because when you do have, your official, overthrowing, all of that kind of like piles up I forget what they call it, like the esteem points that you pile up, the renowned, I think is what it's called, something like that. It feels like all of that actually matters. And so there's a lot more pull on the political side of things, to where you're not just like a normal Total War game where you're just, who can I conquer? Who's the weakest next to me? Who has the best resources, which is fun. But the political intrigue of the Egyptian factions adds a lot more to it that I actually really enjoy. But that is the downside, is I've noticed, is I could care less about the other factions because they don't have as much of an impact. I mean, it really is. The whole game is obviously based around Egypt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you should be playing the Egyptian factions, and it's a lot of fun.
How did you like the Troy and just the battles and the art style and the economy management with the, like, all that? I mean, just do you like all of that in those games?
Yeah, I mean, like, you and I have talked about this, where I don't really like the magic side of things that they kind of went towards with Troy. That got a little goofy. I'm glad that they decided, I don't know when that happened, but they allowed you to do like a more normal playthrough where your general isn't killing thousands of people as one human being. Like,
right.
It's like, what are we doing here? I get Achilles was badass, but like, let's chill on that a little bit.
Yeah. It definitely makes it a little more grounded. Yeah.
Yeah. But what I really love about that game, and what carried on into Pharaoh, was the economy was a complete game changer. The ability to, if you have a certain type of, I don't know what it was stone, right? There's stone, wood, food, gold, and bronze. Yeah. And so when you're the only region that has a lot of one specific type of resource within your area, you you gain a lot of power from that, which is a lot of fun because again, when they're able to like add mechanics that take away from I'm stronger and smarter than you on the battlefield, so I win, you know, the game has a lot more depth to it. So I really love the economy side of things, and I hope that they implement that into other newer Total War games when they do it in the future. Because I do think that there needs to be a lot more emphasis on like certain regions are going to have more of this resource than other regions are. I mean, that's how the real world works. Like, so it feels more intuitive in that sense. So I do enjoy that. But yeah, I would say that the downside is obviously just the style of battles and like the way that the units play out with each other just feels a little bit less like a Total War game and a little bit less realistic that I don't really like. But I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about Troy and Pharaoh?
Yeah, I'm having a harder time getting into this one. And I had a hard time getting into Troy too. I think on it in the surface, I love that there's an economy system that's not just money. You know, it makes things more complicated, more interesting. And the way that you make tactical decisions about where you're going to go is like, oh man, these guys have a bunch of stone over there and I can't build a fucking hut right now.
Yeah.
And I need to build these buildings that give me all of these, you know, advantages or bonuses or whatever. Or I can recruit this unit if I have enough. So I like that part of it. I don't know if I just suck at Pharaoh, but like the drawback on some of that is because it's really difficult to have a lot of everything, especially early on. I can't field more than like one army at a time, and I can't really go to war because and somehow the AI is just like spamming armies, and I'm like, well, I don't know how you're doing this because I pay like one army and then I start and I get like build like a half of a second army and I'm bankrupt. Like,
yeah,
you're out of food. I had like tons of food a minute ago. And so it's like I like the control on my insane because a lot of Total War games, if you play your cards right for the first like 30 turns, you're gonna steamroll. You're gonna have lots of really good units and lots of armies, and you can just blast through enemies and just conquer everything. And the more you conquer, the more money you get, and the more build, and it just builds up and up and up and up. So It's like I like what this is doing functionally to reduce that snowball, but I don't know if it might just be a user thing. Like I feel like it's more my issue, but I'm just like, okay, well now I can't do like anything, and I just sit there turn after turn with my one little army, and I go and I like fight these guys, and I take this city, but then these guys declare war on me, but I have one army, so now I can raise another army of like these shit units that are gonna get annihilated, and then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know. I'm just like I don't find myself wanting to go back and play it because I'm like I don't have that forward momentum that makes me excited to play a Total War of like, dude, a few more turns, I'm gonna have enough money and I'm gonna have my tech up where I can build this cool building and I can get these sick knights and it's gonna be so fun. And I'm gonna there's none of that. It's just like naked guys with sticks versus naked guys with sticks. These naked guys throw rocks, and those naked guys have spears, and these guys have like a little hat, and they have like a little wicker shield and some like a sword. They're like badass. I'm like, are they badass? Like, I don't really feel like any of these guys are really all that badass. So I think part of it is also like the historical era is just, I'm glad that they're treating it realistically, but I'm not really excited by any of it because it's all just sort of, it just looks like all the guys just look like they're in like they're like movie extras from like a 1950s like Ben-Hur style movie where I'm just like I don't know.
That so is it's kind of the same old song and dance. So with Total War in general is there's a lot of really cool mechanics that they come out with that eventually get ruined because the AI just don't play by the same rules or they don't understand the rules at all. And so ultimately, especially when you start playing in higher difficulties of AI, you just have to get kind of gimmicky and do some you have to cheese it. Yeah, it does. It certainly does. Like one thing I'm glad you were talking about that one thing that really irritates me about these with Troy and Pharaoh is, you know, you've got your settlements, and then outside of your settlements, you've got these like smaller buildings that you can build throughout the region.
Yeah.
That provide, you know, specific bonuses for that region, essentially. But they are essentially defenseless unless there happens to be an army nearby, which is never, because you're defending your city. You're not defending these small little huts on the outside.
Right.
And the irritating part is that your enemy factions, even if, like, if this were just like some random, like, barbaric, like, nomadic faction, this would make sense. But it's every faction that I go to war with. They will send in 1 to 3 units at most, and they don't ever fight me. They just run around and raid and destroy all my outskirt buildings. And it's like, okay, I can't do anything about this, because if I am trying to focus on the actual armies that matter here, but this is just keeping me from actually utilizing. Oh, it's outposts. I just thought of it. It's actually keeping me from using outposts, because essentially they're useless. I'm burning 200 to 300 stone to build these outposts that are eventually just and just keep repairing them. It's like, I'd rather just destroy them and not have outposts so that they don't have anything to be distracted by. And that's where it's like, the AI needs to be better.
Like, yeah, that's not part of the design. It's not designed. You're supposed to be building those outposts because they grant you things, and it's part of the infrastructure and all that.
If it was like a nomadic, like, tribe of some kind, like that makes sense. That's what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. Stealing and running.
Yeah, but like when I'm at war with like a major like a Egyptian faction where like we build giant civilizations and pyramids, and you're telling me that they're sending a single general out with like 30 dudes to like go and pillage outposts, like I'm not buying that.
Yeah, and they're never aggressive. They never come after you or anything.
No, they never fight. Well, because they can't. So it's just constantly. It's like, go back and build an army and come fight me.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna keep. I'll go back to it and try and give it a shot. But I just play it. I'm just like, man, I just want to go play Rome 2 and have Roman legions and just fucking buzzsaw everyone.
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly better Total War games. I will say that.
And there's Warhammer, which is always like a great distraction, and I love that game too. So all of them, I really love that whole series, and we'll talk about that a lot, I'm sure, because we we play a lot of Total War. So, all right, your last one, you're playing. You've been doing some VR, man.
Yeah, dude. Not as many games with the VR because I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", and this room cannot handle me flailing my arms around for very long.
You're one of those guys on TikTok who's like knocking his light off of his ceiling.
Yeah, pretty much. But man, I have so much fun. Like I've talked about the Darth Vader series. If you do have a VR headset, you have to play the Darth Vader series. It's a 3-part series. The story is great. There's always something inherently badass that brings me to my childhood of wanting to be a Jedi. There's something badass about wielding a lightsaber and hacking people with it that I absolutely love. But then there's the other part of it that I really enjoy about VR is that it provides the context of how big things actually are. Like, for instance, in part of the Darth Vader series, you start off on your ship, and it's a tiny little ship because it's just you and your one robot, and you can see one of the what are these? I forget what they're called. The really Star Destroyers, yeah, the really giant Empire buildings, ships. But it comes in and it starts slowly veering away ahead of you. And
that's awesome.
When you can actually see it yourself compared to how big you are,
the scale of it,
the scale of it like changes everything. Even though the graphics are honestly pretty bad, but being able to see the scale of it and having the perspective of I'm standing here and it's that far away, but it still looks that big, like that is breathtaking.
That sounds worth it by itself, honestly. Just to be able to
Yes.
experience that, like, yeah, that sounds
Yes.
awesome.
Yes. I mean, coming in, entering planets from your ship and like getting to see the scale of it, it's like you really get to see the potential of what VR can and I'm hoping eventually will be. But yeah, I mean, there's things like that. I played a game called Red Matter that's a lot of fun. I need to play the second one. It's kind of more of it's got its elements of like creepiness, and you play this scientist who is set to go to like a Soviet like science base, I believe on the moon. Yeah, it was on the moon. And your mission is to, you've been sent out there to figure out what happened because they've lost communication with everybody there. And so they're like really creepy, weird things that are happening, and you're like solving puzzles and picking up clues, and that's a really, really fun story. I don't want to spoil really any of it because it's basically just story mode, like you're solving puzzles and walking around, but it's pretty much all story. And so that is a lot of fun. But that's like the biggest thing to me. My only downside with VR, and the thing that I always like kind of provide caution for most people, is the amount of content that you're expecting is just not there yet. And as great and as powerful as these machines are, and the potential is all there, it's a lot of fun. When you find a game that you really like, you're like, wow, this is like next level. But there's not a lot out there. And the games are usually generally pretty short. That's the only downside for me, is just, the content is just not there yet. And I am concerned with how expensive making normal video games are, and with where the economy is headed towards with that. I sometimes wonder if VR can actually survive.
Yeah, is there enough demand? Is there enough money coming in? I mean, isn't Meta losing like $1 billion a year or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, these machines are worth well more than $500 that I paid for
yeah,
it.
they're
like,
definitely subsidizing that.
Yeah, they're pretty powerful. It's like, if I have to pay $1,000 now for the new Xbox ROG Ally, it's like these guys are hemorrhaging money on these VR headsets. Like,
yeah, and I feel like its profitability has definitely dropped the last couple of years too, especially with PlayStation. They just put out their like PSVR 2, and it doesn't seem like it's really doing a whole lot. Like, it seems like the market for it has been really stagnant, despite like really cool things coming out for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the hardest part, is just like, who's creating the content? Because I'd imagine creating VR, content is so expensive, and then also so time consuming. I can't imagine what editing for a VR video is like. Like, I mean, a normal video is already hard enough. But like having to deal with that, and then I would imagine a VR camera is probably really delicate, and having to deal with all of that. There are like awesome videos that you can watch and stuff like that, but it's very limited, and you can tell that there's not a lot of people invested in creating the content for it. So I'm really concerned about whether or not VR will actually last, which is a bummer,
one-on-one
because
relationship. If there's not very many people using it and buying it, then there's not going to be very many people creating it, right?
Yeah, the demand's just not there.
Yeah, if those headsets had sold millions and millions of units, then there would probably be a lot more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you're paying, I can't even imagine. I'd have to look it up, but just buying a VR camera is probably insane. And then to like be committed to like creating like top-notch films, because that's one thing. There's like some shows that they have where they, you're like in the show, and it's really cool. Because like, for instance, I forget the name of it, but it starts off in this like medieval battle, and they're like overthrowing a castle, and you're like in the middle of it, of like people just swinging their swords and bodies flying around, and it's like,
that's cool.
It's really cool to see, but I'm like, man, this is probably really hard to pull off, and is it worth it? Because there's not that many people watching VR shows.
Yeah, it's very niche. And I think part of that, I don't know, part of that to me is it's very isolating, and not in a necessarily a bad way, but it's like you can't really, I mean, sure, I can cast it to my TV or whatever, but like one person is getting that experience, because at least with a video game, I could put on Claire Obscure and it starts playing, and Alicia's like doing her own thing, and she's like, "Whoa, what's going on with it?" And she's getting invested with me as we're playing it, and she's like, "Whoa, I want to know why did all those people get killed on that beach?" Like it's but it, to her, if I'm having a great experience in VR, I'm flailing around my living room like an idiot.
Yeah, it's hard not
it's
to
like you
look
can't
like
really
an absolute ass when you've got a VR headset on.
Dude, I look like a wannabe SWAT team. Got my black
Captain Price
headset on. That just, I don't know. I think it's super specific, and it's very much like one individual experience at a time. Only one person can really, even if you're watching it on a TV, it just looks like it's all over the place. It's just it's not good unless you're by yourself. So that, I think, is a massive limiting factor right off the bat.
Have you guys also are you guys still dealing with like some of like the motion sickness stuff, or has it gotten any better? Or do you feel like you've gotten more used to it? How has it been
game.
for you guys on that front?
It takes some getting used to, for sure. And I think that, for instance, a buddy of mine had to stop playing VR because he never got used to it. And that is the reality for some people. Like my wife, pretty much anytime she puts a headset on, even if we're not doing anything, she starts getting dizzy. Like, it's just the impact of having so many different things affecting every part of your eye. I'd imagine is very intense on your body and on your brain. Like, but for me, I'm fortunate that it was never really an issue for me. Like, one of the best games to play is Echo VR. It's like a kind of like an ultimate frisbee, but like with zero gravity, like kind of in space arena. And cool. It's a lot of fun. It's really intense. You're having to like fly around and grab a disc and pass it on to your friend, and so it's high intensity. But that game will get you really dizzy because your brain is having to suspend reality and think that it's floating in zero G and flying around with jetpacks, but your body's not moving at all. So it's really confusing, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's about the style of movement. Like if I'm controlling a character and I'm pushing forward on an analog stick and I'm moving forward through the environment, but my body is not, it is seeing movement but not feeling movement. That's what creates the sickness for me.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these games, that is not really a problem. One of my favorite VR games is Super Hot.
Oh, nice.
It's just like, I mean, I can't imagine ever playing that game in any other way.
Yeah.
I'm not moving through the world, right? You snap from one location to another once you kill all the guys. And it's really fun, and it's you're trying to dodge bullets. It's like Matrix, and it's really, really, really a blast. I got a bunch of other games. I just bought the Xbox one, the Xbox edition Meta 3S.
Yeah, so cool looking.
3S, yeah.
Because I'm a corporate shill. It has a portion of my personality wrapped up into a brand. And so I was like, well, I have to have this because I just, anytime they release some kind of cool Xbox thing, I'm like, damn it. I hate I hate Xbox so much. And the other side of the coin of hate is love, my friends. So
right.
That's the problem. Cool, man. Well, I have some other games on VR I want to play. I bought the Assassin's Creed game because I'm for that, and I want to try it out. And so as we play some more, we'll have to check back.
I bet Skyrim's fun too. Play on there.
Yeah, is it on the headsets?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean, the only downside is I'm not paying $60 again.
Yeah, what
It's
the
like,
fuck?
guys, how many times do I have to pay $60 to play the same game again?
Yeah, that should be $30, man.
Yeah.
Come on. You got to subsidize Starfield. No, that's not true. Starfield sold a lot of copies. We should do an episode about Starfield someday.
Yeah.
Because I feel
yeah,
like
definitely.
that game could actually use some real conversation. I would like to talk about that game. Well, man, we're we're at an hour
really,
45 already.
Yeah.
So, and I'm glad that's good. So I think what we'll do is we'll finish up this segment. We'll do our write-ins, and then let's we had some industry news stuff that we wanted to cover as well, and I feel like that could be almost a whole nother episode, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might even look into this next week. We'll kind of pick up. We'll make a part 2 of this. We'll talk about industry. We'll get people's write-ins on all these different topics, and we'll make another episode of that because we're already at an hour 45. I'll just kind of go through what I've been playing. This is this was the thing I was looking forward to most all week, was just listen to you guys, just talk to me about all the things you're playing, and just get into the nitty gritty about all these games and all that. And we have some good write-ins as well. So we'll totally do those here in a moment. I can do most of mine pretty quickly. We already talked about VR. We already talked about Clair Obscur. I did. So Kyle was telling me about how Space Marine 2, Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 was like really, really, really badass.
I've been hearing good things about it too.
And I was like, and Kevin, friend of the show, Dead Kevin on Twitch, he has always been the biggest 40K fan like I've ever known. And I remember when he bought the first one for 360, it came out in 2011, and he was just loving that. And it just, for some reason, God, I sometimes I go back and I think about the reasons that I won't get into something. And I'm just like, what?
Why?
What? Like, I remember watching him play this and be like, why is their armor so big and their heads are so little? They look like fucking idiots. And that was that. I didn't play the game after that. I couldn't take it. I just didn't understand like art style, was a thing. And like,
I take it you weren't a Warcraft fan either, then, huh?
No. I just
Yeah.
thought I just thought they looked stupid. And
I love me some big ass fucking pauldrons, dude. There's just something about them.
Now, I will say there is a line for me, and that line I learned was live action. Because they made a live action Warcraft, and oh my god, it was hard for me to even watch. It was so ridiculous. They was just like it was like filmed inside of San Diego Comic-Con is what it looked like,
Yeah.
Because it works with a game because you can kind of animate things in a way, and and everyone else is sort of wearing it, and it works. So anyway, that was my big long roundabout way of getting to the fact that, as we discussed earlier, like I don't like jumping into a second game. And I remember asking a couple of people, like, should I play the first one? And they're just like, nah, man, it's 15 years old at this point. It's not, you don't really need to. And I was sort of resigned to that. And then all of a sudden, a few weeks ago, a remaster is on Game Pass of the first game. So it's Space Marine. It's Warhammer 40K Space Marine. It's a load Master Crafted Edition.
Yeah.
My God,
it's hard to tell the difference between all these 40K games. I'm going to be honest.
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's like it's kind of an intimidating lore, but that's the thing for me. It's like I kind of want to get into it because of my small layer of Warhammer knowledge. From Warhammer 3, I mean, they take place in very, it's, I assume the 40K means 40,000 years later. I don't know if it's literal.
I think it's the year 40,000 or something like that.
Yeah. And it's the same. I mean, it's greenskins, it's the Empire, but kind of, not the same Empire, but humans, humans, and there's elves and there's chaos demons. And I mean, it's just from fantasy to sci-fi, and it's still that like really grim dark style storytelling and like all of it's very interesting. And I'm kind of there was that show, Secret Lab, is that what it was called? It came out on Prime. It was
Yeah, the Amazon one.
Or Amazon, yeah. And it was the Amazon Prime show. And there were a bunch of like animated shorts, kind of like that Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix, but it was sort of like, but Amazon's version of that.
Video games.
And there's a Warhammer 40K one in that features Space Marines. And that single-handedly was like, I've got to know more about this universe. Like I'm so into this now. This was so cool. And so I've been wanting to get in those games, and just like, it was perfect timing. It popped up. I saw it was like 8 to 10 hours to beat the campaign. I was like, that's perfect for when I don't have as much time to play. I can still make meaningful progress. You know, all summer long, my job is incredibly busy during the summertime. I think that's what I struggle with most, is like, I'll get 30 minutes to maybe a little over an hour at a time, a few days a week, to play games. And it's like, man, if you're playing a big game, it feels like you just barely get, you load it up and you walk down the street. You're like, okay, time to go to bed. Right. Like that's that. So it's like, I like having a smaller scale game that I can not only play, but if I play an hour, you know, I got an eighth or a ninth of the way through the whole campaign. Like, I made progress. I can get another game off of my backlog. So I'm trying to balance the length and the types of games I'm playing. So this was perfect. And I just beat it the other day, and I think I beat it in like 7 or 8 hours. It was so nice. And it is the most late 2000s muddy brown 360 third person action game ever. It is the epitome of like, they were like, look, that Gears of War game, just put Space Marines in it. And that's what it is. And it's fucking awesome. And it's actually interesting. I'm speaking with, I'm just grabbing whatever's near me. And Alicia works at my desk sometimes, and I'm sitting here speaking with
for a second there, I'm like, is that a vape in his hand? What is going on out
here? This is some nail and cuticle lotion that Alicia left on my desk. But I just like pick something up and I just start talking.
Hang on, I learned something new.
Let me tell you about Warhammer, motherfuckers.
My coconut nail cream.
Oh man. So I got into that. I made great progress every time I played. It was just a blast. And the one funny thing that I found is that I remember the first time I played the Doom 2016. One of my favorite mechanics in that game is that the best way to get health is to go execute an enemy. So get them to that point where they're like in the stun state, and then you execute them and they just pour out the health icons. That is in this, and this game came out like 5 years earlier, and I just love what that does for like just a straight up action game like this, where if you're in trouble, you better just get into a little bit more trouble and get yourself out of it by stunning someone and executing them in the middle of this big melee. And you've got these guns and saw blades, and you're just like ripping orcs in half. I mean, it's just it was so fun, and it didn't feel dated. I mean, it looks a little dated, and you can tell it's a product of its time, the way it looks and the art style and stuff. But it was just a lot of fun. I would highly recommend it if you want a quick, easy game. And the story was interesting. And the main voice actor, I guess he didn't reprise his role, but it's Mark Strong, who you might not know the name, but you recognize him, both his voice and his face. If you saw him, he's a phenomenal English actor who's been in a lot of stuff. Yeah. And he plays the main character in Space Marine. And I thought that was cool, because he's always given me this really high class British actor, like film and stage actor. And he's this fucking Space Marine in this like Warhammer 40K game. That's awesome. I thought he's so good in it. The story is actually really good. It's simple. It's very simple. And the ending is a little like, oh, that's it. It's over. But just a great breeze through of a game to play before bed or whatever, just annihilating orcs. And it was super cool. I loved it. And I'm excited to play the second one. I would like to play the second one co-op. I don't know if you can do more than 2 I don't know how many players. If it's just
Oh, it's not 4.
co-op.
Is it? It's
I
just
have
2.
no idea. I don't know anything.
I mean,
two?
the size.
I
The
think it was
size.
more than 2, but
Yeah, the size of the hordes is alone should. I would hope you could have up to 4. Because man,
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if you guys are interested in that at some point, but I think that would be fun. We could probably stream that or something.
yeah. I
maybe.
mean, it'll. I mean, I see it on sale quite often, and it's getting a little bit dated now, so it'll probably be on a really good sale at some point soon. So
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe it'll come to Game Pass at some point because it was
Fair.
on. The first one is on Game Pass now. So, and I've noticed that we'll get into this a little more next week, but Xbox is starting to sell PC games on the Xbox app, which I think is interesting.
Mm.
So you can buy PC games there, and knowing that Steam integration is coming. Anyway, we'll get into all that next week, but just interesting thoughts. That game was a lot of fun. The only other game I'm really going to spend any time talking about is Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is like the primary game that I am on right now, and has been since March 20th.
Yeah,
when it came out, it's kind of the reason I haven't really dove like head first into Clair Obscur, because it's like these are two kind of bigger games, and it's impossible for me to try and keep up with these two at the same time. So it's like I've got to get through Assassin's Creed. I love Shadows. It's very much Assassin's Creed. It's junk food. It's easy. It's simple. I actually have it on the highest difficulty level, which is the first time I've ever done that with an AC game. They're usually really brutally difficult on the high level. This one is not. And I don't know what that's about, but it adds a layer of realism. I mean, the AI still kind of sucks, but there's now you can be seen when you're like sneaking along the rooftops. So, and you can go completely prone. So you're kind of using the angles of rooftops. You're like, okay, can the guards see me from here? And you'll like crawl. It makes you use more of the parkour and the stealth. And they've really just put way more love and attention back into the stealth gameplay, which is the biggest thing for me. The AI is still dumb as rocks. You can just whistle and they come walking right up to you, and you can.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty bad clips of that.
But I don't really care about that. Like, it's like there's different levels of stealth games. There's your Dishonored and other like kind of more hardcore immersive stealth that you're going to get a little bit more punished. And this one is just kind of a power fantasy. Like you're just a ninja just sprinting around rooftops and annihilating people from the shadows, and it's a lot of fun. The story is interesting. It's have you guys watched the Ghost of Yotai video that just came out, the state of play?
Yeah.
I've only seen bits and pieces of it.
I decided to watch through it earlier.
I watched it too. I was like, fuck it. We're about to start the podcast. I should probably.
It doesn't reveal too much, to be honest.
No, it doesn't. But boy, I mean, young girl has her family killed and you're seeking revenge is the plot of AC Shadows, and it's the plot of Ghost of Yotai. Like it's like, oh, this is like really basic stuff that they're coming up with. The other main character, because you switch back and forth between Nawe, the female kind of more stealth-based ninja character, and Yasuke, who is a samurai who's like kind of a real person. In Assassin's Creed, they do that a lot. They'll take someone who did exist and just totally make up a bunch of stuff that make it work for the game. And Yasuke is a really interesting character because he's like a former slave, and he's a slave at the beginning of the game. And they just did a really good job with playing with the way his race in Japan would be at that time. Because like the Japanese, the daimyos and the shogun, like when he gets there, they're really interested in him. They've been seeing the Portuguese and the white people for a while now. They're used to the white people and the Christians and the monks, and they're just kind of like, yeah, okay, we know what you're here for. And then they just kind of work. They're very practical with the white folks. But then they see Yasuke. They see this, and he's like 6'5", I think, in the game. He's this giant man. He's got like dreadlocks, and he's learned Japanese because he's been there with his Portuguese master for a long time. And they're just like, they just take this fascination with him and kind of adopt him a little bit and end up taking him away from his white slaveholder, and they give him a lot more respect than any of the white guys ever did. And it's just really, but they ask him, there's just so many good moments in the story where, like, one of the first things that the daimyo asks Yasuke is like, has your skin always been this color? And it's like a really earnest, like, I just love it. I just love the way that they kind of took on, because I don't know if you guys remember when it first got announced, it was like a big deal. Like, oh my god, like AC's woke because it's like they're just forcing a black guy in there. But it really fits in the story. They really don't shy away from that whole thing. Without, it's never about like, oh, you know, he's being treated differently because of this. It's like, it's very much about how that would have gone down, and they ask him these questions, and they're interested in him and the kids, and as you walk around the world, people see you and go and like they don't know, because they're just like, what the hell? I mean, they've never seen anything like that in their life, and it's just cool. It's like his story is much more interesting than Nawe's, and it's, I don't know, it's been a blast. I really like it. It feels like a bit of a return to form for me. I love, you know, like the original Assassin's Creed games, you know, the first few, and like Unity, very much like about the parkour, about the stealth, all of that. They've taken some of the role-playing elements of the last few and kind of baked them into the original version of the game. So it's kind of like a nice hybrid. And I think it's one of the better ACE games I've played in a long time. I mean, it's still fast food, right? Like, you know, when you go to McDonald's and you get that Big Mac, and like they fucking nailed it. Like, it's got a lot of sauce, and it's hot, and the fries are really hot. It's like, this is still just a Big Mac. Like, I'm not over here saying that this is going to be one of the great games you're ever going to play, but damn, it's like the best fast food that I can get.
The fries were fresh this time, huh?
Super hot and salty, like right.
Yeah,
it's just like, this is exactly what I wanted from Assassin's Creed. So if you've ever played other Assassin's Creed games and you enjoy them, I think you would like Shadows. As long as you're not looking for Game of the Year, it's a blast. I'm absolutely loving it, and I think I'm going to finish it before the next episode of the show for sure, because I got to the point today in the story and we're like, okay. And then there's a bunch of stuff left over to do. It's lots of filler content that feels not really like filler content. There's like a lot of interesting storylines and things that are on the side that you can pursue. And it's just, you know, that constant feedback loop of improving and getting new skills and new weapons and new armor. And it's a simple, really nice feedback loop. And I love it. I really like the game. I would highly recommend it if you're a fan of those games.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to our write-ins, you guys. I was thinking the write-ins were going to be more in the middle of the episode, not after 2 hours of recording. So sorry, everybody. We'll get better at this. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I think we're all just
shaking the rust off.
We're excited to just vomit everything.
We just wanted, this is like a year, 2 years worth of wishing we've been doing this the whole time. So I'm going to start with an email we actually got. So there's multiple ways you guys can reach out. I will say, going forward, jump into our Discord. If you need an invite, you can shoot us an email, or you can follow us on Instagram, and we can get you into our Discord. Probably the best way to get a write in is we do have a specific chat in Discord on our server for asking questions, but we do have the email as well. So Tyler Fry wrote in, and he says, hey, TSG crew, so happy to see y'all are coming back. I haven't had much chance to play many new games this year, but recently I've been into Fields of Mystria and enjoying it thoroughly. Fields of Mystria, is that do you guys know what that game is? Fields of Mystria?
No, I'm not familiar.
Yeah, that's a Google search.
Somebody Google it. I'm going to keep reading here.
It filled it in for me, so.
Oh, damn! It's a big time game, then, dude.
Okay, so I'm getting some like Stardew Valley type art here.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of Stardew Valley.
It is Stardew Valley. Yeah.
Oh, it's is it like a DLC for Stardew Valley?
Like no. I meant like it's the play style is.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
is very
farming
same genre,
which I love to do, which is actually my favorite type of game to play on my phone.
Yeah.
It's a perfect game to play on your
Easy.
phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of controls going on, and you got time to kill, and it's easy to, pick up and put down. And these games are a lot of fun. I put a
This
lot of
looks cool
hours
too.
into
I love like
Stardew.
the almost like 90s anime
Yes,
aesthetic.
it does. It does have
Yeah.
that late 90s anime look. Yeah, no doubt. Kind of like it almost has like a little bit of a like Studio Ghibli look about it. Slightly.
Yeah,
Looking
like
on the
Yu Yu
website now.
Hakusho kind of thing.
Is this multiplayer or are we just single player on here?
That's a good question. Tyler, tell us more about Fields of Mystria at some point next week.
Please do.
We want to know more. He continued. He said, "I also have been playing through the Halo games again. Same. I have been doing that. I've just got the achievement for beating all of the campaigns in Master Chief Collection on Heroic.
Dude,
so I finished
nice.
all of those, and I'm on to Halo 5 right now."
No.
So he's been
Wah,
playing
wah.
through the Halo games again on the Master Chief Collection and falling back in love with that franchise. Halo 3 ODST still holds a special place in my heart. Being alone in New Mombasa at night with the rain falling and that soundtrack is something I can't seem to let go of all of these years later. Yeah, I love that game.
Take me back, man.
Yeah.
It's my favorite, and it's not even close. Still to this day, my favorite multiplayer shooter game of all time.
What,
So
Halo
good.
2 or
Yeah.
3 or all of them? Just
Well,
generally.
God, I mean, it's hard to pick between the two, but yeah, Halo 2 and 3 were the prime years.
Yeah, and the Master Chief Collection is awesome just because you can kind of just jump into all of it. There's so many people still playing. It's got a great community still. He also says, Craig playing through a bunch of Fire Emblem games is great news. I love that series, and I hope you're enjoying it. For what it's worth, Awakening and Shadows of Valentia are my personal favorites. Happy to hear from you all again. Take care, Tyler. So Craig did also write in. So we're going to get to his write in. But I wanted to make sure and get Tyler's here because it came over through email. So thank you, Tyler. We're looking forward to hear from you more as we go. We'll get a little more efficient with time and space. I promise.
This is something I think me and my wife would get into quite a bit is Fields of Mystria. So this looks awesome. I definitely want to hear about it.
Into that. Craig's Game Room on Discord. He wrote in, stoked the show is back. Been on a Fire Emblem binge lately. Recently beat Blazing Blade and Sacred Stones, and I'm working on Engaged now. Nothing like a good strategy RPG. Now I have to ask, it's been 3 years. You've had plenty of time, Ian. Did you finally try Gravity Rush yet? What's funny about that is like I thought we talked about it on the show because I did play Gravity Rush for like a good 4 to 5 hours. I think I don't think
Did you? Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, it was back like when we were doing the show. I think it was when I was
know
living
me
in Seattle.
and Craig did the experience point on it.
Yes,
because
right.
It would be the first time I played through it too.
Because I kind of fell off of it. I loved the idea and the art style was super cool, but I didn't stick with it. It didn't quite get its claws in me, but I did play it. I did try it. It's one of those things like I might be willing to go back and do it again. Like that might be one that would be worth a second shot. Sometimes it takes
They're supposed to be making a TV show of it, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
Like a movie.
I heard the second one's even better from a lot of people too. So, Cream Lord. Oh man, Cream Lord is here. He's back.
It's quite the
Lord
name.
of the Cream.
Are we about to get creamed right now? Is that how this works?
I can. I could give you his real name, but if you write in on Discord, man, I'm calling you your
screen name,
your Discord name. Yeah, your screen name. So Cream Lord says, "Welcome back, boys. I'm currently playing Expedition 33. Turn-based has never been something that has really interested me, but this game completely got its hooks in me. Totally exact, like word for word. Couldn't have said it better. That's exactly how I am too. The build crafting and strategy involved is just so good. I know I really love a game when I'm not even finished with it, and I'm already thinking about replaying it on the harder difficulty. No, I'm not going to do that. Not going to play it on harder difficulty. I'm bad enough as it is on the. As the Doom guy, I can't believe Expedition 33 might end up edging it out for my game of the year. partially because while I did love it, I think he means Doom the Dark Ages, I did have some problems with the Dark Ages that made it not reach the heights of Eternal for me, although it has grown on me a lot the more I play it. Other potential Game of the Year contenders for me are Ghost of Yotai and Silent Hill F. Well, you don't know yet. You don't know yet.
Yeah.
But I'm sure those will both very likely be in Game of the
Yeah,
Year.
it'll be quality, I'm sure.
Barring something crazy happening. I mean, I think Ghost of Yote is going to be a pretty damn good game.
Yeah, I totally agree. He also says, I want to shout out an indie game that came out a few weeks ago called Suit for Hire. It's straight up just gameplay. Zero story here, but it's basically a John Wick simulator. I've been having a blast playing it, and there's tons of levels that are lifted straight out of the movies, such as the bathhouse from the first one. Some of the animations of the character you play are straight ripped from Keanu in those movies too. It's not just a mindless shooter either. It forces you to engage into a pretty slick resource system that naturally puts you into a flow state once you get it down, and it really makes you feel like the boogeyman.
The Baba Yaga.
Love hearing about a good indie, man, because it's like those can just go under the radar so quickly with all these thousands of games coming out every single year. So those are always good. You never know what you're missing.
Seems like there's...
Well, yeah, if you include like
this looks cool. It's got the overhead kind of RTS camera, kind of like the what's that?
Hotline Miami.
Yeah, yeah. That's perfect. Or like the that Cyberpunk game that it was like a Cyberpunk spinoff.
The Ascent.
Yes, that's the style of play that I'm seeing here.
Okay, so what is like kind of like a twin stick shooter then, basically?
Yes, exactly.
Very cool. Yeah, I'll need to look
very
into that
positive reviews so far. So
I need to get like a good dedicated handheld system at some point, because there's like a lot of like indie games that I would just prefer to play on a handheld than like on my couch.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm excited. That's why I'm excited for the new Xbox Ally.
I know, provided we don't need a mortgage to buy it.
Dude, I know.
Well, so we're okay. So let's we're gonna call that an episode as far as any major topics. There's a couple things I want to touch on, and then we'll get out of here. It's 10 o'clock already here, 10 p.m. at the time of recording this, so I'm sure we all have things to do. Couple things though, real quick. One, next week we kind of just created our episode for next week. We're going to be hitting up on all the industry news conversation. So think Xbox murdering half of their employees, not literally, but that's kind of what the internet would make you feel income. Like they basically just they just took a bunch of innocent game developers and just shot them execution style. So that happened. Man, there's so much going on. The PlayStation multiplayer struggles with all the Concord getting closed, being
live service
pulled from the live service, all that, the God of War thing, like it was supposed to be multiplayer. Bungie with the stolen art and it just not working out.
Yikes.
The Ghost of Yotai State of Play, Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox, Game Pass sustainability debate rears its ugly head again. Lots of really juicy topics to jump into. There's probably more that we can add to that list. So if you're listening and you're into that stuff, the industry stuff, make sure to tune in next week and get some write-ins in. If you have questions or opinions or anything, we will definitely kind of get them a little more involved in the show. As we go, we'll make sure that happens. The last thing is kind of an executive decision that we all three of us discussed previously, but I'm kind of going to just do it right now. We're going to bring back the experience point, and I don't want to wait too long on that. And I think we got to do BioShock.
Oh yeah, I would love
because Taylor has not played BioShock.
Okay, absolutely.
And I just feel like it's been several years for me. I don't know how the last time you played it was, Kyle, but I just happened to see it on my Xbox library today, and I installed it because I was like, "Oh, screw it. Maybe we'll get to do that at some point." So I don't know when that's going to be. It's not a super long game. It's like 10 to 12 hours, I think. So we will continue to hint about that. But I just wanted to let everyone listening know, if you're a BioShock fan, if you haven't played it in a while, think about starting it up, thinking about playing it, and in the next, I don't know, month or two, we'll see what the timeline is like and when we can all get to it. Get ready for that, because I feel like that would be a really good start to our experience point episodes. If you guys want to join in with us, play it, and just keep your eyes peeled on our social media and listening to the show, and we'll kind of let you know when that's coming. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up here, you guys. This was I'm just so glad to be back, and
Same.
I hope the rust wasn't too rusty. I hope you guys are feeling good. My voice is feeling a little tired because it's the first time I've talked that much
Oh,
for that long.
Yeah.
Any last words? What are you guys doing the rest of your evening? You going straight to bed? Are you going to work tomorrow? Like, what's going on? What's going on in your life between now and next week? Just let us know what's going on, and we'll sign off. Go ahead, Taylor.
Yeah, not too much for me tonight. I'll probably jump back into Kingdom Come Deliverance after we get off here. But yeah, it's a work night for me tonight. And yeah, probably just playing through KCD and trying to make some progress through that. And then this weekend I'll be at my girlfriend's place. And I brought my PlayStation over there, so I just have something to kind of play around with when I'm there just hanging out. So that's when I'll get back into Metaphor and Silent Hills. So, but
Sweet.
So excited to be back here podcasting with you guys, and excited everybody else out there is listening too. Like, I know we have a small but really active community, and excited to do this again for you guys. And thanks for returning with us. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So how are you, Kyle? What's going on, man?
Well, we got to get up early and hit the gym tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we do. Yep.
So not a whole lot.
I know. I'm going to go flip some YouTube on, I think.
Yeah, in fact, we got up this morning to go to the gym, and I'm feeling it now. I'm getting pretty tired. I'm like, as soon as it hit about 9:30, I was like, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I work tomorrow morning. But I'm really grateful for this opportunity in general. Yeah, I'm thankful that you guys thought of me to be a part of this. I'm really excited to get to know you a little better as well, Taylor. This is gonna be fun. Ian and I have just kind of would shoot the shit all the time and just talk games and sports and stuff. And so this just kind of naturally just feels like a lot of fun, and it's a good way to hang out, especially with how our lives get so busy. It's like, even for Ian and I, it's hard for us to find time to hang out and just talk. So
yeah,
this is
absolutely.
fun.
100%.
It is.
And for people who don't really know me yet on the show, I'm excited for you guys to get to know me and get to know you guys when you write in, and hopefully I make it worth it.
Oh,
this has been fun.
You will. It's I think this is going to be the lineup that sticks. And I just can't wait to keep going and get back into it. And thank you guys for all of your time that you're going to be putting into this, including 2 hours and 17 minutes on the first episode here. We'll get that under control, but
for sure,
this is just too fun, and we just had to keep going. So, all right, everybody, I hope you have a great night, a great day, whenever you're listening. If it's like Friday or Saturday for you guys listening, go fuck yourself. It's only Wednesday here, and I'm upset with you right now. No, I'm kidding. We will see you next Friday for our next episode covering the industry news. And then after that, we'll start getting to our topic-based stuff. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next week on the Solo Gamer Podcast. Later.
See you guys.